You already know, I'm crazy.
How you feeling, my brother?
I'm feeling blessed, man. I just want to, just thank God for this opportunity, man. I'm glad to be here, man, for real.
How was your 2016?
It was a up and down year, you know what I'm saying? I was a little bipolar. It was
A lot of people felt that way, I think.
it was good and bad, you know what I'm saying? Well, I can't really say bad. I would just say, a lot of lessons learned and it was just a lot of growth, you know what I'm saying? One of the biggest things I would say that happened earlier in the year, I lost a family member, one of my favorite aunts. That was real
I'm
close
sorry,
to me.
man.
Matt, rest in peace to her. She watching this right now, you feel me?
She pulling some strings.
Yeah, man.
God bless, man.
Mm-hmm.
And who is this guy you got next to you in the jersey, too?
Well, this is my brother, man. This is my man, Miles the Menace, you know what I'm saying? Part of the team, part of the squad, new East Coast, Coast Wave,
Yeah, jersey in the building, heavy.
all day.
I want to take it back to the beginning, man. Like, what I like to do on this show, for those of you that just tuning in for the 2017 edition, I like to really get in depth with artists that are on the come up, that's putting in a lot of work, and, see what kind of makes them tick, where they start out at, the whole story, the come up.
Right, indeed.
So I say we bring it back to Jersey.
Okay.
What part of Jersey? You were born in Jersey, right?
Yeah, born and raised in New Jersey. I'm originally from a town called Plainfield. Shout out to the Queen City, Plainfield, New Jersey. East End, West End, what up? More or less, but I grew up and I live in the town next to it known as Piscataway, you know what I'm saying? It's a small town, but a lot of talent there, man. A lot of NFL players come out of our town, so if you want your kid to possibly go to the league and he play football, I suggest you send him to Piscataway High School, but
Is that where you went to school?
yeah, you know what I'm saying? Piscataway, you know what I'm saying? That's where I grew up, man. Like I said, Plainfield is my hometown. That's the hood or whatever, you feel me? Piscataway is basically a small suburb next to it, but
Gotcha.
we come to give a different perspective from Piscataway because a lot of people, they look at Piscataway and they just think it's soft and they don't realize that this is one of the most diverse towns, diverse schools in the U.S. You know what I'm saying? We got a little bit of everything and honestly, nobody, I'm going to be honest, particularly the minorities, you know what I'm saying, but nobody's actually from Piscataway. There's no hospitals in Piscataway.
Gotcha.
And we're actually in the heart of central New Jersey because what Piscataway is next to, two known small major cities, New Brunswick, you know what I'm saying, Plainfield. New Brunswick is known for Rutgers and all that, Rutgers University. And Plainfield, I'll be honest, I love my hometown, but it's a lot of negativity going on out there right now. A lot of cats getting killed, a lot of senseless violence, and it's been like that, for years now. But it's still positivity from the city. For those who don't know, Parliament Funkadelic originates, you know what I'm saying, from Plainfield, New Jersey. You know what I'm
It
saying?
sounds like there's a lot of diversity from there because if you got the school right there, Rutgers, you got that kind of crowd, that college vibe, but then you got the hood that's right there too. You said there's no hospital around, so I'm sure there's a lot of people just coming through town and moving around.
Exactly. And see, even with New Brunswick too, there's a lot of things that people don't know about New Brunswick. New Brunswick, one of them places, you feel me, and I'm not glorifying this, I'm just keeping it real, like, cats come through New Brunswick from other towns and they just see Rutgers and they don't realize once you get past Rutgers, you got uptown, you got down bottom, you know what I'm saying, you got the Ville, all them different hoods and it get crazy. So I'll be advising niggas, watch where you stepping.
What's so crazy about it for those people that have never been out there to Jersey or that aren't quite familiar with that kind of atmosphere?
I'm gonna be honest, the attitude in Jersey, like, I'm gonna just keep it real, like, cats just don't, we can curse, we good.
Yeah, of course.
Cats just don't give a fuck, bro. Like, the attitude in New Jersey is like, is straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas don't give a fuck where you from, like, it don't matter. Like, when you come to Jersey, you gotta understand, like, niggas come from other states or whatever, and I'm saying, I'm from here, I'm from there. When you come to New Jerusalem, niggas ain't trying to hit none of that. And y'all should already know, y'all look at the news, man. We only name it one part. I'm saying, Newark, Camden, Trenton. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's greasy, man. It's real.
It goes down.
It's real, man.
It's crazy because a lot of people, I think that come out of Jersey, a lot of people have that hustling mentality. I feel like those are the roots of it. Like everybody that I've spoke to that comes out of Jersey, whether it be people that are on radio, rappers, artists, everybody kind of has that same story when it comes to just like it's wild out there and that it's a lot of people that are able to kind of get on and get out and that there's a lot of inspirations coming out of Jersey as far as like you said, the athletes, the different rappers. I had my man Kilogram on here recently, and he was talking about how a lot of NFL players were coming out of Jersey, but also like Naughty by Nature and dudes like that. That's like even from back in the day when it was even more crazy. I'd assume it's more crazy in the 80s and 90s that people were still coming out of there. Then it's always been a creative environment to some extent, being like a suburb of the big city. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where did the music come from? What what was your influence to get into music?
I'll be honest, man, like, you know, my parents or whatever, you feel me, when they had me, they was in their early 30s, and my father is a music head, like, so it really started from him. Like, I'll tell you no lies, like, my mother tells me all the time, because, you know, when we lived in Plainfield, she used to work nights when I was a little baby, so before, you know, my dad would, you know, pick me up from preschool and all that, and literally potty train me in the living room. He'd be in the back with his homies smoking weed.
Oh, so y'all go way back.
You know what I'm saying? He'd be smoking his little bud, and he would have Rap City on, and it just kind of like I would say this: he planted a seed. You know what I'm saying, he planted a seed, but shout out to my older brother Terrell. He made it blossom. He made it grow, because I looked up to him, and you know, he was hip hop, the way he dressed and things like that. But it's just always been in my family. Even my cousin Aaron, you know what I'm saying, you know, he was a DJ and whatnot. So music has always been around. And my father, he had me listening to things at a young age. Like I'm talking about NWA, Public Enemy, Naughty by Nature, Digital Underground, you know, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre.
Hip-hop head.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I hear, honestly, like I was going to say in your music, and we're going to get to more music later. I'm going to play some stuff for the people. But I hear in the music a lot of diversity, which is pretty unique. Like I hear a lot of West Coast kind of vibe, and you know, it's not even just straight hip hop. I heard a little bit of like jazzy vibe in some of the records too that you was playing for me. So I could tell that you got a lot of different influences. Is it primarily that your dad that put you on to all this, or was your brother kind of helping you make music, or was he putting you on to stuff as well?
Well, this is the thing with my brother. You know what I'm saying, and just to actually clarify, my brother, he's really my cousin. But I don't have any siblings, you feel me? Okay. So, you know, I pretty much look at, you know, my brother, well, my cousin as my brother. He's the only older brother I ever had. And what it was with him, it was basically like, you know, he's 4 years older than me. Okay. So we come from the era, like, I'm 26, you know what I'm saying? So
we're the same age.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, 26.
You know, 1990, you feel me?
Yes,
so
sir.
we come from the era, my cousin was real heavy on DMX, you know what I'm saying, and Mace and all of that.
Yeah.
And at that age, I didn't really understand the lyrics, but I could recite them all. So it would be funny because my cousin, like, he'd be in the room knocking like some D Block. Like I remember, like when Gangsta and the Gentleman came out by Styles P, that's all he was bumping.
Yeah, they was just ahead of us because we came up with like right after that with the 50 and like all that.
And see, and I remember my cousin. I'll never forget when 50 was on the mixtape scene. The mixtape was popping. My cousin would be in the room just nodding his head. I'm like, who that? He's like, nigga, it's 50 Cent. You know what it says, nigga? And I'll just be like, no, you feel me? Like, and he had me listening to Lloyd Banks, and that's when I really started understanding punchlines, because rappers like Lloyd Banks and Jadakiss, he would play them, and he'd be like, you heard what this nigga just said? And I'm at that time, like I was young, and like my parents,
Banks was the best for that, by the way. I gotta shout out my man Banks.
Well,
Banks is the best for the punchlines.
Recording him and then when they used to come up. You feel me?
Yeah,
on the radio,
on cassette, yeah, same here. Same here, on the cassette. Like
staying up late, getting in trouble just to hear that shit.
You guys same making movies with him.
and even just like, even back when, I mean, you know, with Clue and There's a Storm, like, and I used to be recording all the stack bundles and the A-Team and all them freestyles, man. Like, it was a beautiful time then, you know what I'm saying, for real.
A lot of solid block music, but it definitely, like, it bridged the gap. I think 50 was like the breaking point in music. I say a lot of times for us, how it was for like Hove and people, you know, that are just a little bit, you know, older than us. But 50, he kind of made it possible to do more than just be about the bars. Like he had the beats, he had everything was well put together. Even when he came out with like Wankster, like a mainstream song being hardcore like that, was like
50 Cent is a genius. Thanks. You know, I read his book. He got a book with Robert Greene called The 50th Law. And I encourage all my friends and certain people that I come across to read it, because it really broke down. The book is about being fearless, but it broke down. It gives you insight on his psyche, and pretty much like he's a hustler to the fullest extent. Like you said, you know, he brought that into the music, and he's actually one of my biggest influences. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, big shout out to 50 Cent.
I mean, you're sitting in this studio they actually made for 50 Cent, because 50 they don't allow him to come to the regular main studio.
I know about that.
So you sitting in the seat he's sitting in. It's funny, when he came here, we sitting right where you sitting. And then Buck was where your man Miles is at.
Okay.
And then who else? Yeah, Kid was in here, Banks was in here. It was crazy. But shout out to 50, yo. I want to rewind. You said your brother kind of helped get you into music. Your dad set the tone as far as like you being a fan of music, but your brother kind of started you off when it came to producing or making music.
What it was is when I was 8 years old, I wrote my first rhyme, because we was in the crib. Yeah, we was in the crib just kicking it, you know. And he was like, "Yo, let's write a rap." And I was kind of shy, like, "Man, I can't rap, man." He was like, "Let's just try." And you know,
You remember how it went?
Nah. None of the words. All I remember was rest in peace to my aunt. I remember she read it and she said, "You better take them curse words out of there." That's all I remember. But I wrote a little rhyme and I was kind of shy. I didn't really like it, and I showed it to him, and he read it, and he just kind of laughed. And so he said, "Yo, you alright? You might be on or something." But see, back then I didn't really see the vision with rap. You know what I'm saying? It just started progressing, like in the middle school and. Basically, a lot of cats I grew up with in the neighborhood. I'm from we from two different sides of Piscataway. You know what I'm saying, but they coexist basically. He from Arborland. That's the side that's basically the borderline of Plainfield. I'm from the Heights, and that's the borderline of New Brunswick. Shout out to Park Ave, and that's really where I got my start. A lot of homies from the neighborhood. We had our little cliques back then in middle school, and we'd be outside battling and all that. And that's when I really started realizing that people took a liking to me, because whenever I would rap, crowds would come around me. And like I said, I didn't see the vision for rap back then. It was just something I knew I was good at, because everybody else in the school in Piscataway, a lot of the homies, they played sports. I played sports too. I played ball, recreation, but I wasn't, that in tune with it. Like my father, he was an athlete. He played baseball, basketball, football. So his dream for me was he thought that was going to be me, but it just really wasn't.
More creative.
He didn't understand that the music that he was putting, into my head and into my, my psyche. He didn't realize that would eventually grow into this. You know what I'm saying?
So,
I want to ask you, because you said that your cousin was you call your cousin your brother, and you said that you guys kind of, when you started working together, was this with your aunt? Did you live with your aunt early on?
Nah,
or?
this the situation more or less. My parents.
Your aunt is your cousin's mother, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay.
More or less, my parents divorced. When I was 5 years old, and my dad remarried my stepmother. You know what I'm saying? When I was 8. And this is my cousin that I'm talking about, Terrell. That is my stepmother's nephew.
Gotcha.
So basically, I was always with him all the time. Like, my dad, sometimes I go spend the night at his crib or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And pretty much, like, that's why he's my older brother, because I was always around him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, because usually people would be like my cousin, but for you to call him a brother, I'd assume that you guys had a deeper connection than just, seeing each other time to time.
And even shout out to my older brother, his older brother. Shout out to older brother Moo, you know what I'm saying? He locked down right now, whatever, but he be home real soon. So he been doing the stretch and all that, but that's the hitter for real. So I advise when he come on, y'all bag back, don't come near me. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't gonna tolerate none of that. But shout out to the family.
I wanted to ask you, music-wise, when did you start creating? Because you said you did your first raps at 8, but when did you start recording and being like, I'm gonna take this off the schoolyard and put these on some tapes and start moving these to the streets?
Okay, I would say in 8th grade, me and my homies, you know what I'm saying, the homies had a little karaoke machine, and we had our little radios where you put the cassette in, you know what I'm saying, and you press record, and you actually rap into the speaker, into the radio, and I would play the beat off my PlayStation or the stereo, and I would start doing it like that. But I'm not to go back to the schoolyard, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. All right, at that time, mind you, I had lived enough life to really see much. I wasn't really in the streets yet, so a lot of things I was rapping about was just off the influence of the music I was hearing. And like you said, it's the era of 50.
Yeah.
So, everything I was rapping about was violent. And chop your head off. Shoot you this, that, and the third.
I love, by the way, that you rigged up the system to record, because not a lot of people would rig up the system to be even recording. If it's not perfect, because I'm sure the quality was trash compared to what you're putting out now. But the fact that you had the ambition in 8th grade to fucking do that is awesome, man.
Definitely. And basically what happened was I had a notebook full of rhymes. And, they were battle raps against, other cats in the school, but I had their names in there. So, I told you, when I would rap in the schoolyard, it would cause a lot of commotion. So one day, one of the teachers, she walks up to me, it's crazy, Jerron was there for this. She walks up to me, she's like, "Give me your notebook." I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "Hand over your notebook now." I'm like, "No." She's like, "Give me your notebook." She gave it to the principal. The principal read it. And she's like, "Oh my God, these lyrics are so violent." And she got all scared and whatnot. So she called my parents. My parents came to the school. My dad is like, "You wrote this?" And I'm saying, I lied. I'm like, "Nah, man, I found it at the park." I'm saying, "I was with so-and-so, I just read it. I thought it was cool, whatever." I'm saying? And it was so crazy because I remember every summer I used to go down to Florida, with my grandparents, and I didn't want nobody to know I was rapping. And I used to literally, I ain't gonna lie to you, I would lock myself in the bathroom, I'd put my headphones on, and I'd write my little verses or whatever, and just so nobody in the family would even suspect it, you know what I'm saying?
And what drove the content early on? Because you said you wasn't really out in the streets. You know, you seem like you always grew up around family. What kind of content were you pumping out? Was it real like ignorant ass content?
Yeah,
or, like,
I mean, well, it was more like you gotta
were you
understand.
telling stories? What was the vibe?
You gotta understand at that time, you know, that's the mixtape era, so I was real heavy off the punchline rap and all that. So I was just going off of what I was hearing. At that time, you know, I didn't live enough life to really, you know, I didn't know how. I built my style like over time, like repetition.
Yeah.
So at that time, I didn't really know how to incorporate things that happened to me when I was younger, like my dad.
But it's more perspective. It sounds like it wasn't like things you was necessarily doing at the time, like how maybe some of the music is now, but more just your perspective on what the hell was going on around you.
Like I put you like this. At the end of the day, I grew up in Piscataway, but I always, you know, recognized as I was a little boy, I'm from Plainfield. Like I remember being young in our house getting robbed by fiends and shit like that. And I remember my dad driving me around the hood, bumping gin and juice in the car, drinking and driving. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, Pop, but it's the truth. You feel me? Drinking and driving. You know,
bad, Pop. Come on.
You know, my Uncle Coonbug. You feel me? What I'm saying? He in the back, and you know the way we used to roll. My Uncle Coonbug. My dad would buy me a pair of sneakers. He buy him a pair of sneakers. You know, we be down Red Tower. You know, on Front Street in the field. You know what I'm saying? And just I remember at a young age knowing the environment I'm in. Like, okay, like it's kind of crazy around here. You know what I'm saying? So even moving to Piscataway, even though it was in a safer environment, I was still writing rhymes from the perspective knowing that, you know, Jersey is dangerous. So I was talking about a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily doing or had really started singing yet till I got older, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's pretty much what the influence was. And like I said, I was listening to rappers like 50 Cent, Fabulous, 18. Stack Bundles is my favorite rapper, rest in peace. You know what I'm saying? So I was listening to them, you know what I'm saying? So that was
clearly it was hitting. People were definitely being receptive to it if you kept, you know, pursuing it.
Yeah, and you know, people always comment on the fact that it said I got a strong voice, a deep voice, so that's what, you know, caught people's ear. So, you know.
I thought you was crazy when y'all first met you.
What's that, Scotty?
I thought you was crazy. He came up to me. I met him at Meet the DJs at an event in Jersey, New Brunswick, and I was with Drewski, and I seen him and he seen me, and I'm just looking at him. I'm like, yo, why do I feel like I know him from somewhere? And he just came up to me and was like, yo,
You got a familiar face.
Yeah, like he was like.